Well, hello everyone, this is Crafty Sue and we're going to do some more fall crafting. As you can see, I've got lots of different fall type silk flowers laying around out here. And I even found some that I had from last year or the year before, tucked away with some Christmas ones. All that you're really going to need for this is you're going to need a foam block. And I did not bring my moss up here, so let me go grab that real quick. I meant to go get that. So the Spanish moss, they call it, you can get it. It comes in, brown, and this is the green. And that's what we're going to spread out on the foam, floral foam here. And try to see what other goodies I have in here. I actually have my floral tape. This is awesome to show you how that works. And these are floral picks. They just come floral wooden picks. There's a wooden pick with a little wire on the end. I already have some on the table there. So I found some goodies looking for the moss I didn't know was down there. So I'm going to open this up because we are going to use this just a little bit. Now what this is used for is to cover up the wire on this picks when you're making your arrangement. Now the great thing about this floral foam is if you have a vase or a bowl or some kind of nice dish that you want to put your tabletop arrangement, this is going to be for a centerpiece. You can put this on there and you can take a serrated knife and shape it. You can round off the ends if you like and make it a little smaller if you wish. I'm going to use this one just the size that it is. And when you're making a silk flower arrangement for your tabletop, you want people to be able to see over top of it as when you're communicating, when you're having some little social interaction. So you only want your tabletop one to be basically chin height. Okay, so as you sit on the table, you want to go, okay, chin height, I don't want it any taller than this. So that's the generic guide, and that way you can make it actually fuller with that. I'm also going to show you when you go to get your silk flowers or leaves or whatever you're using, you don't always have to go for the single stems or these bunches. Sometimes you can find gems in something that's already pre-made. This has got a little hook on it so it can be hung right up. It can be hung up like this or it can be hung up like that on the wall. But I'm going to tear this apart because of all the elements in it that I can use for this centerpiece. So I'm actually getting more for my money, and I like the leaves on this. They're fuzzy and they're really cool. So with that, I've got the glue gun already heated up over here, and I had another glue stick someplace. I have one. Oh, I know. They're in this bag over here. I got a little bit of everything everywhere. Yep, there they are. I usually go through maybe 2, possibly 3 of these little glue sticks. So I'm going to put that extra one there. So first thing you want to do is cut all the pieces off you want to use. That's what I did. Now there is some bunches that will have like single pieces like this. Cut them down as far as you can. And then when you get to putting this together, you'll cut them to where they're not going to go past that height mark. So that's what we're going to do. I've cut some of those off. Then there's others that'll have a cornucopia of different things in it, like a wildflower bunch, like these. You've got the flowers, and you've got leaves that will slide on it, and the flower will slide up. You can adjust the height and fullness of your arrangement that way, and you'll see that as I do it with these. I took 3 off of each one of these, because the rule of thumb is what? Odd numbers. 1, 3, 5. 7 at the max if you want to make a really big statement. Now, because this particular one is so thick in the stem, it's going to be harder to cut with the wire cutters, which I have over here. Okay, these are good heavy duty ones. If you have the little cheap ones, make sure you have these for the thicker stems. So we're going to take our floral foam first, and we're going to make the base. And the base is with this Spanish moss. Don't have to glue it on here. Some people want to put a little bit of glue on this. I don't, because I know once you start sticking all these stems in, it's going to hold it there anyway. This is just to hide the foam. That's all this is for. This is for basically a backdrop. It's messy. It falls off and falls around, which is fine. Some people will do these three-sided and then just put this up against something on the back. If you can get something, it's called a charger plate, and this can be glued onto top of a charger plate. So as we fill this in, it's going to cover up all of that green foam, and all you're going to see is this green nesty stuff with the fall pieces plugged into it. Take one more small piece here. Put on this little corner. Just kind of cover that in. Now you want to start from the base and work up. Or you can start from the top and work down and fill out from the bottom. Your leafies, these little guys, they're going to be what's going to frame it out. So let's figure out, well, what do you want for our centerpiece? Well, I know what I want for my centerpiece in this, and that's this little guy. This little pumpkin that's right on this piece that's already pre-made. You can see floral tape on the back where it's been wrapped around to put all those. It was a bunch of these just wrapped together to make this. And I found that if you start with in the back, if you start with the one furthest down, and let's see which one I started with. The paper, basically it's a stretchy paper, and it will tear. It tears fairly easily. But what I do is I'll take my wire cutters and I'll just kind of slit down there to loosen that paper up, so I can separate all those stems from each other. So now I've cut the paper across, and now I should be able to separate them out of here. I want to get to that pumpkin there in the middle. And see how it's put together. Sometimes they will wire wrap these around each other, which it looks like this one may have a couple. And I'm just going to go in and snip that, because I want to get to the pumpkin. See, there's one section of leaves. I'm just going to throw it up here. I'm going to grab colors as I want to put them on. And then I go to the next part here that's connected with the other. It looks like it's wired together also. Undo that little wire there. Let's see if I can separate either one of these off. Yeah. And then you'll see the different components. It's actually a couple of different sprays wired together to make one arrangement. See, there's one piece there, and there's the other one that has the pumpkin on it, but there's actually more than one wired together here. And I just want the pumpkin out of there. That's going to be my focal project or item. So I just opened the pliers open and just kind of slid it down with the point to get all that paper off of there, so I can separate them. And let's see if we can get, there we get the pumpkin out. There we go. Now see, he's got a really short stem, so that's going to be tricky on this arrangement. Now that comes out very easily. You can see as the paper gets torn off of it, everything starts to come apart. And then you realize you've got a bunch of pieces to work with, which is really nifty. There's some berries. Another sunflower. It's more of a burnt orange one. Oops. There's that one. Then there's these leaves. It's actually two different kinds of leaf things. There's a real greeny one. You need to take the little tag off of there. Sometimes these tags don't want to come off. Come on, tag. There we go. Okay. And then there's one that's a little more on the brownish green side. And then there's this piece. Now this is going to come in handy. If I decide to use it, it comes in handy. I can use it as a extension of a stem. So I know I want this in the center of my centerpiece. And I know I don't want this to be any higher than basically there. Now you see this stops way above the foam. So I'm going to take one of the floral picks and see if, and you want to have at least an inch overlap. The last inch. You want to have it where it's an inch across, and you take the wire and you wrap it around, if that's long enough. Now since I have to shove this in about a ½ inch, that's not going to be tall enough. So what do? They also make these in a real long stick, and you can cut those down. But for me, I think what I am going to do is take one of these stems that I had cut before. It's a little bit longer. And I'm going to pretend like this is a wooden pick. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. Now if I do that, that's going to be just about right. So how do you connect them? Well, since I'm not using the wooden pick, I'm going to use the floral tape. Floral tape is like magic. As you pull it, it gets sticky. So I have to open the end here. And you want to take off, you just take off pieces as you need them. I usually take off about a 3, for this little bit, I'll take about a 4-inch piece. And I'll just tear it. It's just like paper, but it's sticky on that side. And once you get it started, you put it on the stem where the two meet. You stretch it a little bit, and then you keep stretching it as you twist it around to secure it. Now they also have the same floral tape in a brown, so you could put brown on here so you'd have brown stems if you don't want the green to show through. But I've got a lot of greenery to put on here, so the green works fine. If it tears, not a problem. You just go back, stick it back on there, and continue from where you were so that it will hold your new pick. That's the old piece of the old stem from one of the clusters, and put it on there. Take that sticker off there. I don't want any white in there. And it's still kind of sticky, but now it's longer. So I can actually put this in there, and I'm going to take a little drop of glue on the bottom. I'm going to put it right smack dab in the center of my block here, because that's where I want it. I want it to be right there. It's kind of like the centerpiece of the centerpiece. And you only have to push it until it's at the height that I want it. Now, it's a little wobbly, but that's fine, because as it fills in, that wobbly stuff's going to go away. So now, what I want to do is frame it out, and you can frame it out to where it's like a half moon shape and narrow, or you can make it full like a bouquet. I just kind of like go with the flow and see what I come out with. These little guys here, I want to have on either side of it, just because they're a little fluffy. And this one, I'm not even going to shorten it. I'm just going to stick it in there at an angle, because I have other pieces that I'm going to put in there. Now you're going to say, well, there's holes. There's like a lot of space. There won't be when we're done. Now, where's the other one? There's that one that I found. There's this one. These little flowers are so darn cute. And there's one. This one is almost like that one. So you want to kind of have them complement one another. So you want to do it at a little bit of an angle. And we're just winging this one. I just know that what I've kind of got, I see this leaf will slide down, and that will help fill in from the base. So when you put these in around it, you want those to be just a little bit lower than your main focal flower, or pumpkin in this case. Okay, and you can bend them towards it a little. I've got this big leaf here, and then I've got this little guy to go in front. Like that. And sometimes, there we go. We want the pumpkin to still be above everything. That's going to be your highest point. Okay? So we're going to put some more focal flowers around it, and then we'll go to filling in the holes. So now I've put in some filler flowers, and I'm making this so that either this way or this way, any which way I put on the table will be looking like it's the front side. So I just need a few more flowers to put in. Okay, so now we've got it balanced out flowers wise. I've got a gourd pumpkin here, one over here that you can see over there. And so when you look at this side, this looks like it's the front. I put a little fan tail thing back there. And when you turn it around this way, or even on the side, that looks like a focal point. I mean, because that's the center. And on this end, same thing. And on the back, I've got a big sunflower back there. Now it's time to fill in gaps, fill in holes, make it look fluffy, and frame it out. And we're going to do that with a color lace. So a little bit of glue, like this. And I don't need to put sticks on them. So I'm going to start at the corners and push those in. Because ultimately, you want to basically cover up all this green stuff on the bottom. And have your, like I put one of these on this corner, and on the diagonal corner on the other side, I'm going to put the other one. A little drop of hot glue. And right on that corner. Shove that baby in there. There we go. Like that. And now I'm going to do the opposite corners with a little different leaf. I can find them. Got a bunch of them out here. Now, when I see this big leaf like sticking way up and it's not like a little cluster like I need for it to be, that's when I take my wire cutters and I cut the long one out. I'll take these two, glue them in place, and then glue this in above, but deeper in. Bend that down just a little bit. And take this one. Put glue on that one. Let's stick that as if it was in the cluster already, even though it's not. Now this one's kind of floppy. It's not real stiff, so I'm going to need a floral pick. Put on the bottom of there so it'll stick in there really, really good. Wrap the wire around it. All I'm doing is wrapping the wire around it, like we did with the pumpkin in the center. About a 4-inch piece of the floral tape, and wrap that around. Lock that little wire onto there. You stretch it and twist. You're stretching it as you're twisting it on. And then I can stick it right in there where I need it to be. Next side. And this side. And another sunflower I could use if I need to. There's another same cluster. I just have to cut this one. Put those two in. Now I could do this. I could actually put them together like this use some floral tape, which is probably what I should have done with the other one. I just thought of it just now. And wrap it around. If they were meant to be together like that. I'm just wrapping it around, right around both the stems. And then straighten that little wire out just a little bit. Take one of my floral picks, stabilize it, put it on there, wrap that wire around, and then do the floral tape one more time. Just to cover that wire up. You want to start at the very top and work your way down. It covers the wire up. Wire doesn't get away from you, and they all stay on the stick. Nice and neat, just like that. Now it's one pick. Like that. Put that one in there. Right there. Okay. This one's a little high, so bend that one a little bit. And this one's a pretty curly color, so I'm going to stick that one over here. I'll turn around so you can see. And when I get to the fullness that I like, I'll stop, because I don't want hardly any of the moss showing through, maybe just a little bit. So this way you can see the opposite side, where I have put leaves in there to fill it out in the front. I'll do the same thing back here. Using that floral wire pick. Putting that on there so that it makes it fuller. And sometimes I like to kind of lay them underneath. Like this. I used to do this every day, sometimes 6, 7 days a week, and I love it. There's nothing like bringing a little bit of the outdoors indoors. You don't have to worry about watering it, and it still looks pretty. And you can bring it out next year, and it'll, well, you want to make sure that you don't let it get all dusty, and put it in a nice clear plastic covering. And the fact that they're on wire, if they do get a little crushed, all you have to do is fluff them up, kind of like fluffing up the Christmas tree. The kids would always say, "Mom, you do the best job of fluffing the tree." And I said, "Oh, well, that's a nice compliment." That was, I think, our way of getting out of doing it. Let's stick this one right here. Here in the middle. This spot in the front. If I can get it to go. Because I want this to look like every side of it is the front. So that's why I twist the leaves and turn them and bend them this way and that way. And got berries in there. So I found some berries and I stuck those in there. And I'm not crazy about this little green stuff. I do like the eucalyptus sprig. I'm going to stick it up in here somewhere. Just the one sprig. It helps to fill in some of the holes up in the front. Hopefully it's not too long. Nah, that worked out. I'll just bend it just a little and it'll be out of the way. And I'll still have my pumpkin as the center, but I'm going to bend that eucalyptus to cover this little gap that I keep seeing. Now you stand back and you can see gaps, and you're like, okay, gotta fix that. And let's see what else I got over here. Let's actually put one more sunflower in the front, right here. Well, that would be great right there. And then I put greener around it, and we'll fill it in. And you'll see this in just a second. And I'm going to use these brownish kind of leaves. These are really pretty. Yeah, right there. Oranges, golds, and browns, and greens. Slide the leaves down a little bit to cover that up. And I see one little spot over here. And I got this one little sprig I can use to fix that. Cool. Sometimes you'll see one little tiny hole and you go, wait a minute, gotta fix that. But, let's see, the front looks pretty good. I got one spot that could use some. There's the other side so you all can see. And then this guy needs to be sort of here. Yeah. Sort of on this end. I've got plenty over here if I think I need to really play with it. I just want this to be nice and full, but not too high for on the table. Kind of like drape over so you don't see what's under it. And that's the whole point, is to kind of have it hidden. And I have these guys that I didn't put anywhere just yet, but I think I'm going to put them here just as a punch of color. Right on the side. You don't have to have even numbers over it. I mean, things that grow out in the wild don't grow in pairs, typically. And they have their own little character and shape. So I'm going to turn this around, kind of look at the shape I've got going here. This one, just to go in just a little bit. And I need a little something here. So what do I have that I haven't scarfed up off the table? These guys, these little guys right here. Well, this is a good one. I had these from last year. I really like how they help fill in holes. Little holes. So these ones that have the staggered leaves on the stems are great for filling up little spots where you just want to punch a color, a little bit fuller look. I'm going to stick it right in here under these guys. If I can find it. Where's the foam? There it is. There it is. Set that one up like that. There you go. Like that. And I need one over here. I'm going to cut the other little short pair off. I'm going to put it right here. Right there. Yeah. The orange on top of it. And as I turn it around, you'll be able to see that, the way that looks. This other two leaf thing's going to cover this hole over here. I just happen to see it. Other than that, so that's got that around the side. So this is kind of like a little ball. This turned out to be kind of a little ball. Excuse me. And I knew I had another one with a pop of color. Okay. Right here. Because one side looks kind of flat to me and the other side looks kind of poofy. So we're going to balance it out. Balance it out. Yeah, that's much better. Alright. And I need one something here. I know. One of these guys. Little flowers. I think these are from last year too. But when I found them, I go, I don't think I had those. So, you know, you see the wildflowers, you don't always see all the same kind. You know, kind of floating around. There. Let me see shape-wise. I've got a nice shape on this side. I got a nice shape on here. This one is missing something like, yeah, one of these guys. Because that would just frame it out well. Let's see if that does what I, yep, that'll do it. The bigger leafy leaves are great for filling in and shaping out. That's why you want to do them last at the bottom. That's where you find the gaps and you fill the gaps in. That's what you got. And I think this one is done. Get that out of the way so you can see what we've come up with. I want to take a look at this side. And you can move the leaves around when they're in there. You can bend them. If you decide you want one color over another one. And so this is what I call my all-around table arrangement. Let me come up here a second. This one fell off from somewhere. Yeah, I'm looking for the spot that it came off of. I usually can find them. What was this? This one here? No, it's got all this. That came off of this one. I'll just stick it on there. If it pops off again, I'll put a little drop of glue in there. But this side looks like that could be the front. Or this side. And there's this side. So anybody can do this. It's just a matter of playing around with things. I need one thing right here. I know I probably don't, but my eyes see something that it needs to needs to have a little something in there. And I know that it's going to be a little bit long drop into there. So we'll put a little extra length on it with the pick. And like I said, this you can put, glue it onto what's called a charger plate. It's just a really pretty plastic kind of decorative kind of plate. They're called charger plates. They only cost a couple dollars. And you glue it onto it, and that way you have a stable bottom for it. This one, it's stable. The other thing I could do with it is I could glue it to a wreath, a small wood wreath, and put in there. This is what it needed, was right there. It just needed, there was just this one hole, and I had to have it in there. So the kind of wreath I'm referring to, hopefully I did not misplace it, because I wanted you to see it. Oh, right here. It's one of these little guys. See, I could take this and I could wire it to it or not to make that be the base of it. And so now you can really see. And I think I might just actually put that on there. Maybe put a little ribbon around it, around the bottom or something to cover up, you know, that it's connected to it. Or just shape it into. See, I can take a serrated knife on the bottom of this and shape it to fit inside the hole of that little wreath. So I hope you've enjoyed this little fall decoration type video. Just moving things around as I see that they need moved just a little bit. It's just how I am. And yeah, I'm into the crafting. We'll get back to the paintings very soon. Actually, we're going to get into sketching. But right now, the holiday season's got me decorating. So have fun. Check out for the clearance aisles. And just make something pretty for your dining room table for this holiday season. God bless everyone.